What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more content for you guys. And seeing as we've got two of our gems out on loan at the moment, we thought we'd be keeping you updated throughout the season on Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett to see how they are doing on loan at Preston North End and Portsmouth Football Club. And it's been interesting because the loans haven't obviously they haven't been there for that long, only been about five or six games into the season. So, but there has been some sort of good reactions to both of these players already from the Preston fans, from the Portsmouth fans. Let's start off with Troy Parrott because he's played 5 games so far for Preston, scored 1 goal in the Cup against Huddersfield in a 4-1 win. But we are hearing a bit of glowing reports from Troy Parrott, aren't we?
Yeah, and I mean, I saw his individual highlights when they played against Wigan. I think he had 6 shots. He laid on 3 chances created as well. He had some really good moments where his first touch was on point. He was bringing other players into play. He was shooting from outside the box, forcing good saves out the goalkeeper. So he clearly looked like their biggest threat when in that game, even though it finished 0-0. And judging by that, and obviously I saw his finish in the goal in the Carling Cup, and that was and even though it was a rebound, it was harder than it looks. He didn't get it right in the corner with his left peg. He had to react quickly, and he did that. And I think from what I've seen, obviously following on from his loan at MK Dons, he looks like he's fitting in well in the Championship, which is really encouraging. Obviously Preston seem to, I think they're unbeaten, but I don't think they've won a game. I think 3 draws so far. Yeah. Oh no, they won their first one this weekend.
They beat Luton, and then they've drawn every other game.
Yeah, every other game.
0-0.
Yeah, but interestingly, Troy Parrott has the 2nd highest expected goals in the whole Championship. I think 2.17, which is only second to Grant of West Brom. So that goes, look, you could look at it in 2 ways. That goes to show that he's manoeuvring himself in the positions to get the chances, and even though he's not maybe burying the chances, at least he's like not getting bullied in a sense where he's actually mixing it with these Championship defenders where he can get these chances now. Or you could look at it one way where he is getting the chances and unfortunately hasn't put them away just yet, and maybe that needs to improve. But for me, it's encouraging that he's able to, because I think to get those chances, you can't be that player he was 2 years ago where he's getting bullied and he's easy to mark and all these things. You have to be able to battle with these defenders, and he's seemingly able to do that at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's encouraging signs, and I think, you know, it's only early doors in the season, and I do expect him, if he does keep getting in those positions, the goals will start to flow. And I think you saw that as well at MK Dons. You've seen that in the international setup as well. You know, he's really starting to knuckle down. He's really starting to take his chances. And it's music to all our ears, because a year ago, maybe a bit more than a year ago, we couldn't say that about Troy Parrott. We were talking about Troy Parrott as being someone that might be falling by the wayside, but it seems as though it's complete opposite at the moment. We do have a Preston fan. He's a Preston North End reporter for Lancashire Live and Preston North End Live. He goes by the name of George Hodgson. So let's hear what he has to say about Troy Parrott.
I think it's been an encouraging start for Troy Parrott at Preston, all things considered. Just the 1 goal to show so far from his 5 starts. Ryan Lowe's backed him to start every game so far, 4 in the Championship and 1 in the League Cup. He scored in the Cup away at Huddersfield to open the scoring. Preston went on to win that game 4-1, and Troy pounced on a rebound inside the box, you know, anticipated the chance well and was there to finish with his left foot. I think he'd be the first to admit he'll be disappointed not to have more goals. I think he could have had 4 or 5 really already. Every game he's had a big chance, but what I would say is I think you can see what a good footballer he is. You know, 20 years old, but looks to have bulked up, and such a mature player in that final third. You know, he's willing to drop deep, willing to link attacks. Strikes me as a very unselfish footballer, and his physical qualities as well. The work rate he puts in up front. What he gives to the team up there, you know, not a very sort of big physical presence, but uses his body well, makes clever runs, and I think in the first game at Wigan he sort of struggled with the hold up play, but he's getting much better at that already, you can see. but brings other people into the game, like I say. And I think he's going to go from strength to strength at Preston. From what I've seen so far, I've no doubt that the goals will come for him. He just needs to keep getting in the right positions, and it'll come. I think he's probably overthought a couple of his chances after maybe snatching at a few early ones, but he's getting in there. You can see the technical ability that he's got, and I think he's going to have a good season. So hopefully can sort of not overthink these chances too much that he's missed so far, because Preston have got 6 points, and had Troy been a bit more clinical, they probably could have had 10, maybe even 12. But looks a good addition, good place for him to develop over the next 12 months. Fans have taken to him already. Just want to see him get the goals that his work rate and his tenacity and sort of awareness deserves. I think he got 10, did he, at MK Dons last year? So yeah, I think it's the right move at the right time. I think we thought that when it was announced, and so far Troy's shown a lot of encouraging signs. So let's hope he can, for Tottenham and for Preston's sake, after that new contract, hopefully he can sort of kick on and help Preston push up that table.
All right, so thank you very much, George, for giving your take on Troy Parrott at Preston so far this season. I said George, but I thought it was Eric Dyer giving us that giving us that lowdown there for a second. But now, all jokes aside, I think encouraging words. I mean, he's pretty much saying similar things to what we were saying in terms of he hasn't got enough goals yet, in terms of the chances that he's had. But encouraging words in terms of his link-up play. The fans are already taking to him, and they're very happy with him so far.
Yeah, and he pretty much backs up the expected goals line, because he said Troy Parrott could have about 4 or 5 goals at this point, and he only has 1, which goes to show that maybe he's getting the chances, but he's been a bit wasteful in front of goal. But I'm confident if he keeps getting them, we've got to remember, he is a step up for him now after playing in League One. So if he can I think once he gets a few goals in the Championship, the confidence will flow through him, and hopefully he can go on to have a good season. I'm glad that he's highly thought of already, and I'm very glad the fans are already taken to him, because that's half the battle on a loan move. And let's hope that he can continue in the same way and start banging the goals.
Absolutely. So that is our lowdown on Troy Parrott. Let's move on now to Dane Scarlett, because interesting one. I mean, bit of different periods in their development in terms of Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett, because Troy's around 20 years old, Dane Scarlett's 18, so a bit of a gap there. I mean, those are very important years for a professional footballer. Dane, this is his first loan move as well. In terms of Troy, it's probably his 3rd loan move, I think it is, maybe even more. But Dane Scarlett, he's gone to Portsmouth, first 2 games he came on as a sub. First game he got 16 minutes, second game he got half an hour. Then the starts started to come. He started against Cardiff in the Cup against a Championship team, so that would have been difficult for him. And he started the next 2 league games as well, albeit he got taken off after the hour mark in all 3 of those games. However, I am hearing good reports from Portsmouth fans. I think you are going to have to be patient with Dane Scarlett, because he is a young player. First time he's getting consistent minutes in professional football, pretty much. The only minutes he's had is in youth football. So I think with Dane Scarlett, you're going to have to be patient with the guy. But what have you heard in terms of Dane Scarlett? Have you heard much?
No, I haven't heard much on Dane Scarlett, to be honest. I know he hasn't scored yet. We know, I think, Sai went to see him the other night, and he came back saying he played all right.
I think he had 1 Malibu's too many, though.
Yeah, maybe. Classic Sai. But I think, look, as you say, he's a teenager, and it's got to be very important to not put too much pressure on him very early on. Obviously, early in the season, it's very possible he won't be firing, and it might take him a few weeks or even a month or 2 to get acclimatized at that new level. This is competitive football, where he's playing against 28, 29, 30-year-old men at centre back who are physical, who are gonna be aggressive against you, aren't going to give you time with the ball, who are going to try and outmuscle you. And as a young 18-year-old, it's going to be very difficult to deal with. And that's what he's got to part with. And also, the stakes are so much higher now when it's competitive football, relegation, promotion on the line and things like that. Whereas with youth football, whatever result you get, it doesn't really matter as much, does it? Let's be honest. So that's something that he's going to have to acclimatise to.
Especially
real
at a
men's
club
football.
like Portsmouth, who really shouldn't be where they are.
In League One.
Yeah.
shouldn't they? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not talking about in their team. I'm talking about them as a club, as the fan base that they got behind them. Not so long ago, they were in the Premier League. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be in League One.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, they're a small club, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're not League One small when you look at their fan base.
They had a very good run in the Premier League. I'll give you that. But I think that he's got a lot of growing up to do. So hopefully this loan move will help him with that. From what I've seen and clips of him I've seen, he does seem more adept to playing at that level than I had imagined, even at that age. So that's positive. But he's still very young. So, it could even be a case where it doesn't work out and he has to find a different club to go on loan to. But it's still very early on, I'm sure. Look, he's getting starts already. As you say, 3 starts?
3 starts in a row now.
So he doesn't. I don't think they start him unless they're confident that he's doing all the right things in training to make them believe that he's their best striker. And if he's their best striker at 18, that's very positive. So let's hope he continues in the same vein. And again, a bit like Parrott, hope he starts banging the goals sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fans are really taking to Dane Scarlett already. And I've got this clip from Pratton Park last night. And let's give it a listen because it's great scenes. And that was Dane Scarlett getting a resounding reception coming off on a substitute last night with around half an hour to go. He went round the back of the goal and you had the whole stand behind the goal singing his name. So that's exactly what we want to hear. And I'm glad they're showing him the love that he thoroughly deserves. And we want him to get that love as Spurs fans, obviously. But we do have a Portsmouth fan to tell us about Dane Scarlett. And his name is by the Portsmouth fan channel, 4-0 written all over it. So let's see what he has to say.
Hi there guys, my name's Tom. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how Dane Scarlett's getting on at Pompey on loan from you boys at Tottenham Hotspur. The success of the team under Conte doesn't stop in the Premier League. I know it's only early days, but the boys you've got out on loan at the minute, such as Dane Scarlett, are really doing you proud as a football club. I'm pleased to report that he's had a fantastic start to life at Pompey. We're privileged to have him. I remember the sort of the evening where it began to be rumoured around that he would be coming for a loan to Pompey. There was automatically a buzz about the place, and we've got this upcoming youthful talent in our ranks at Pratton Park who has been getting a lot of game time. He hasn't played every game for sort of 90 minutes for the first 4 games, but he's played a decent chunk of those 4 games, both in the Carabao Cup and in League One in the league competition. Very impressed. The major headline is that he hasn't got a goal yet, which I think you could probably sit there and go, well, that's his main aim, isn't it, in terms of a striker and getting those goals and registering some numbers in League One, and then you take him back and have him developed with some Football League experience, some minutes under the belt, and go from there. But he's done everything but score, basically, is the simple way that I'd put it. He is wise beyond his years in terms of the way that he can recognise Pompey trying to sustain an attack, and if he's running with the ball, he will always take a minute, put his head up, look around and see, actually, is there anyone here with me in order to make this attack a success? And if there isn't, then he'll hold the ball up. If there is, then he'll keep on driving. And I think that's something that, and I know it doesn't really matter because I'm talking to a Spurs channel, it's something that Pompey have definitely lacked for a number of years. And the early signs are that we could have a really good season, and as a result, Dane Scarlett is going to be very much part of the plan moving forward for the rest of the season. So very excited. Another thing that I would say about his performance is that the pressing that he does is phenomenal, and the way in which a Danny Cowley side likes to play is with high press, high intensity, winning the ball back in those key areas to go on and kick on. His pace is electric, and he is one of the major reasons why we beat Cambridge United 4-1 at Fratton Park last night. Was one of the goals is basically down to him. I know he doesn't score it, but he is leading the charge, defending from the front but attacking from the front at the same time, and I think that's what Danny wants out of him. He is chasing down every ball relentlessly, and whenever Pompey lose the ball, it's always a group effort to get back, and Dane is very much part of that. So we're really pleased with him. As a result, we do win the ball back in a key area, and for 3-1, I think Owen Dale and Dane Scarlett are involved in the press, and then it eventually works his way around to Curtis, a little bit of a fumble on the goal line, but it all comes from and originates from Dane Scarlett, that willingness and that drive and intensity to win the ball back, which we've been really proud of as a football club to be able to watch. And it gets you off your seat, it gets you on the edge of your seat, and you're really interested in watching it. I can't wait for him to get his first goal, because I just think that will take him to another level that he's already at, an incredible level, but to just go that one above and start registering some numbers in League One, I think it will really add to the team for ourselves in terms of a selfish and personal view, that we can get some more goals in this side, but also for him and in terms of his development, and that feeling of scoring your first competitive goal will be something really special for him. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited by the prospect of him. He got a standing ovation when he came off. I think it was sort of 75 minutes into the game at Fratton Park last night. 17,000 Pompey fans singing his name. Super Dane Scarlett is the chant. I'm sure you can imagine how that goes. And yeah, he's oozing with confidence at the minute. And as I say, that one little gripe I would have is that he hasn't scored a goal yet, but he's done absolutely ticked every single box other than that goal scoring. So I think you can't really argue with that. And we're so lucky to have him. Thank you for giving him to us, and thank you for letting us take him under our wing and have the trust and the faith and the belief in Danny and Nicky to get the best out of him, which I can assure you they very much are. I look forward to keeping you updated with his progress as the season unfolds. Thank you for having me on to speak to you about him, and I will see you very soon.
Wow. That is what you call a glowing report. That is what you call a glowing report. For someone who hasn't scored yet, to have that sort of impact in such a short space of time at 18 years old, I think is unbelievable. I really do. I mean, I'm getting shivers up my spine just listening to that.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? And it's also when he talks about the press and boundless amounts of energy and being tactically aware. These are very important things to have at 18 years of age. And just clearly he has the ability and the quality. If he can, and he clearly has the mentality as well. So hopefully he can just get that first goal as soon as possible, and then it can start to flow for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about music to my ears about Troy Parrott, but that one is just a level above, in my opinion. I mean, what he was saying, like, he's literally ticked every single box apart from scoring a goal. He was the reason why they won by such a big scoreline last night against Cambridge. I mean, unbelievable report there. So I'm looking forward to having you on more often, that's for sure. But look, that is our lone report so far on Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett. We will be keeping you updated throughout the season, so looking forward to tracking their progress. And let us know what you think about Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett's progress so far in the comments section below. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.